Hey and welcome. I am Phoebe Blamey, best-selling author of The Happy Money Journey and qualified but not trading financial planner, and I have my own mortgage broking business. It is a pleasure to be here to help you on your own happy money journey. Here we are at our first podcast of 2024 and welcome back. I am so excited to see you, because you can see me, because our new format is to use YouTube as well as to have the podcast on all our favorite platforms. So I hope you're watching me. If you're not, then jump onto YouTube and have a look at our channel. Don't forget to hit subscribe. I need you to do that so that we get lots and lots of subscriptions. I am going to talk to you today about creating a vision for your year. We want to create an absolute vision. I'm going to give you a clear strategy to create your vision, and in the show notes there's going to be a link to a downloadable vision so that you can start your journey to align with your dreams. All our years start with resolutions and intentions and making good decisions about our future. And why is that? You know, this has come from Babylon in like 4,000 years ago. The New Year's resolution pattern started. In Rome, they then took it over, and Janus looked back and forward. So January 1st was the start of the new year, and Janus had two faces, one facing forward, one facing backwards, so that you could see the error of your ways in the past, as well as seeing the good things about your future or your dreams in your future. The Christians used to do peacock vows back in the Middle Ages, and there are so many religions and cultures all over the world that reflect, they attain, they move into the new year learning lessons or with new and fresh goals. And according to an HCF survey that was conducted started in December 2022 and went to the end of last year, of more than 1,000 Australians, 80% set New Year's resolutions, and almost half of those, so 46% of those, got too busy to stick to them. The survey also revealed that 62% of people that were surveyed said that the cost of living pressures impacted their health goals. So that's quite interesting. I really want to dig deeper on that cost of living and the pressure around the cost of living in another episode. But for this episode, the survey, the HCF survey, really interesting. Most people wanted to do more exercise. 52% of people wanted to do more exercise. 47% of people wanted to lose weight. 42% of people wanted to stress less. 38% of people wanted to make more money or chase financial freedom. And 37% of people wanted to get more sleep. So these resolutions read to me like a list of shoulds. They're things that we feel like we should be doing. I want to introduce this visioning concept. I learned about it when I was actually finishing my MBA, and I did it with my team at the beginning of last week. Cameron Herold introduced this concept, the vivid visioning, in his book Double Double, which was printed in 2007. And you guys can, I'll put a link to that book because it's interesting. I think he's also written other books since, but this was the one that I came across while I was doing my study. And the basic premise is that you look 3 years into the future of your business, and then you work backwards to set those goals that'll reach you that destination. So we did our own one and I'll share that in our Happy Honeys Facebook group so that you can have a look at it and see what that was all about, just to give you a bit of an idea. And we drew it, and I'll tell you why later. But I've also worked with a couple of clients doing this. Now, Katrina is a 45-year-old mid-level teaching job. She kind of dreams of starting her own business, but she's never made the leap. She is super creative. And she's unhappy at work, and she doesn't know what to do next. And she doesn't really know what to do because she doesn't have any clarity around what her service or product or target audience or any of those things are. And I think that deeper problem is that she's got no clear vision, that she doesn't know what she really wants. And it's knowing what you really want. You know, and it can be hard to know. So we used the vivid visioning exercise to get her to a point where she could actually see what her future might look like. And this is how we did it. I just asked her a series of questions. A year in the future, what do you see? Who do you want your friends to be? What do you see? Do you work inside or do you work outside? What skills or knowledge helped you get there? Who works with you? And we went on and on like this and built a vision that, as I said, she was actually drawing. And the reason that we use drawing instead of writing down notes is because our primitive little brain will respond far easier to pictures than it will to words. So pictures are really important in creating this vivid vision. And I'll give you a really good example of that, actually, that I told my team the other day. Years and years ago, I was at Prue Chapman's High-End Hustler retreat. If you haven't got onto Prue and all the wonderful work she does, she's quite incredible. And I was at this retreat and we had a little notebook, and I've still got it to this day. And in it, I've drawn what is actually the view outside my holiday house that I bought last year in Apollo Bay. So it is literally the trees, the sea, and in this, and I've drawn these two things, and then I've drawn this sort of weird arch shape. And that weird arch shape is actually the buildings that are in front of my building have this weird arch shaped roof, and I can't get my head around it. It's the weirdest thing. But drawing and then seeing something like that and seeing that in your vision, it's like you've manifested magic. But you haven't really, right? It's like there's a little bit of manifesting, there's a little bit of, woo-woo going on. But drawing really does make you see what you're going to do in the future. And we did some great, none of us are artists in my team, but we did some great business visioning the other day. I'll just throw one up here so that you can have a look at what we did. Now back to Katrina. And Katrina could then see that the reason that she's feeling stuck is she feels that she's got more to offer. And she really wants to do a lot more work around learning through play. And this vision of a business or an idea has started to come to her so that she can now start working on getting the practical resources for that business together. So using that exercise on yourself can really help you set new goals. It can reinvigorate your passion. It can help you find your why again. And so completing that, look ahead. We in business looked ahead for the next 3 years because that's nice. It's not too far away, and it's also what he suggests to do in the book. But when I did it with Ella, who's a mum of 3, she's working in a corporate job, she's got a side hustle, her side hustle has really taken off and she's doing really well, and she's almost at the point where she could make that her full-time job. But she feels like she can't get organised. She feels like she just can't get her shit together. She's sort of burnt out, she's overwhelmed, and that's her deeper problem. But really, we used exactly the same technique and went back to what do you see, what do you hear, what's around you. We asked her what her clients were saying, what the media is writing about her, what comments her employees making, what's the buzz about her in the community, what's the marketing like, how are they marketing, are they global, are they local? Are they launching TV ads? Are they online? Where are they? How do they run day to day? Are they organised? Are they running like clockwork? What does she do every day? Is she focused on strategy, team building, customer relationships? What are the company's financials revealing? How are they funded now, like now as in being in the future? And how are their core values being related to the employees? All of those things informed for Ella what she was missing in her business, where she'd been doing everything herself and she could perhaps afford to start looking at who her next hire should be, how she could outsource some of the fulfillment tasks of the business, and how she can get back in control of the marketing activities where she felt out of control. Now, you can look over your vision, and once you've finished going through that vision exercise, as Saffron in my office says, how do you know what to pack if you don't know what the weather's going to be? What we're going to do once we've finished the visioning exercise is we then go through and make our goals a reality. We can then see what steps we need to take to then move forward. So grab a cup of tea, download the worksheet. I've got it there for you. We've got one filled in with a few prompts. We've got one personal prompts. We've got one for business prompts. Choose a timeline, 1 to 3 years. Don't go beyond 3 years. And then ask yourself a few key questions about your future. What do you see? Where do you live? Who's with you? What's your money situation? Where are you holidaying? In your business, are you outsourcing? Do you need a new skill? Do you need more staff? Do you need to create a new habit? What are the things that you're going to need to do? And then you can, once you've got that vision, you can look back over them and know what the steps you need to take to get there are. It's so much more fulfilling and so much easier than setting a whole lot of New Year's resolutions that just look like a shopping list of stuff that you think you should do. This is going to inform your life. This is going to actually make you see all the things that are possible. Don't be stopped by your imagination. Don't be stopped by your inner demons. Just dream big. So with the vivid visioning, we're taking ourselves forward into the future by a year, maybe 3 years, depending on what you're comfortable with. You're asking yourself the questions, and I've put the questions onto the worksheet. You can download the worksheet through the link in the show notes. Ask yourself all of those questions that are on the worksheet, or make up your own questions. There's a blank one there. There's one for business, one for personal, so that you can really start to dig deep into what your actual vision is. And then the next step, after we've worked out what our actual vision for maybe December next year is, then the very next step is to break that down into action points, things that you have to do to get to where you want to go. And doing it this way, you can give yourself, you can stick to that timeline of a year to 3 years, but you can also break it down into those smaller manageable steps that each have their own timelines within it. So, for instance, I wanted to finish my MBA within 2 years. I started it, I failed my first subject. I was really, really close to backing out. But I had this, I want to say by doing this visioning, I had this almost higher purpose of something that I really, really wanted to achieve. So putting myself into the shoes of being able to see myself finish it made it a lot easier to actually go back into it. And yes, I failed that first subject, and I failed it terribly, and I didn't ask for help, and I didn't know what I was doing. And I really have to shout out to Dave McQueen from Loan Market Group, because I sat next to him at a dinner, and what a guy, like seriously just talked me through, you know, the things that I needed to improve. He helped me out and just showed me gave me quite a few tips on getting myself back into it, but also gave me that inspiration about being able to finish something. But I wouldn't have done it myself without having that vision. And having the vision and then being able to take the steps to achieve it. So you've created your vision, you've created your actionable steps, you've got timelines within your actionable steps, and you can see where you're going, and you can check in with yourself. You can put a diary note in to check in with yourself against your vision within 3 months or 6 months or 12 months. But as you go through and as you start to achieve things, it's life-changing. It's really life-altering to be able to visualize something and then do it. And the reason we work so much better with visual than language is highly reflected in the way that children are taught to expand their learning. So I looked online for a whole lot of, I don't obviously want to give you a random phrase and then not have anything to back it up. So I had a real look into how adults learn and how we expand our frontal cortex literally expands when we use drawing and images rather than words. images are so much more powerful for our understanding and our learning. And so when you're doing your vivid vision, I would highly suggest that you draw what you're wanting to envisage, even if it's your own funny little notes like I described to you before, but it's going to get you so much further than just making something up that's written down, that's just your to-do list, your list of shoulds. I wish you all the luck in the world when you're doing this, and you download, use the vision board that we've got, come back to us, re-listen to the podcast so that you can grab some of those questions, download the podcast again so that you can listen to the questions, enjoy your visioning technique. We'll do it actually in some of the courses that we're going to offer this year anyway, some of the stuff around strategy. I look forward to seeing you next time and very excited about our YouTube situation. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed being here with you today. Thank you so much. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. This is so exciting. And I will be back next week talking about how to be in a new relationship with someone new and have awkward money discussions. I can't wait to see you then. Have fun. So if you've enjoyed today's podcast or videocast and you want to know more about us, you can find us on all the socials at Happy Money Journey on Instagram and on Facebook, and you can find us or find me on LinkedIn under Phoebe Blamey. I've also got a website, I'm selling my book, all the things. Don't forget to download the special download from today, and we will see you again next week. Thank you so much and enjoy the journey.